What was old buddy doing when he punted the ball 25 yards down the field in the college game?
A South Carolina State guy?
Awesome.
He's awesome.
That was amazing.
That tweet of them saying, "What was this?" And I quote it as awesome. Like, hey, listen, I don't know. It was certainly not legal. You're not allowed to punt the ball past the line of scrimmage, which he will learn that lesson in a big way last night.
Yeah, he will.
Right.
But I guess he converted on a 4th and 8 earlier in the drive, that same drive with the same thing. We saw this come last year. He was running all the way up to the line, whether or not he decided or thought he could make a first down. He would punt late. It was awesome to watch. And that's where Shaq Leonard went to school. So I posted about him. Then Shaq Leonard hit me up. He's like, hey, this dude's awesome. Great athlete, obviously. Great punter, a good guy. So I remember this guy from last year. I'm happy on their opening night. He decided to fucking say, hey, those who thought that I maybe have slowed down, I have not. I have sped up. Him running 8 yards down the field on a 4th and 18 and murdering a ball and it not getting blocked, I think is incredibly impressive, but against the rules, which is a damn shame. We should see more of that, AJ.
Do you think guys were even trying to block it? They were trying to attack. Like, this dude, he can't punt the ball down here.
Well, this is kind of like whenever a quarterback pump fakes 7 yards down the field and gets everybody like kind of jump. He used to get them. I wonder if he'll start like fake pump. He should. He should. I don't know how often it's going to work.
Sure.
Against other guys that have like a scheme to block said type of punt. But I think that dude's athletic enough to do whatever the fuck he wants. I love him. I think he wore a hoodie under his pads last year. I fucking love him. I forget his name. I should know his name, but I fucking love that guy.
Little stuff like that too is like, which I forgot about, is like why college football is awesome, because you never see that shit in the NFL, obviously, but it is nice. Like some of these smaller schools seeing it. I'm excited for this weekend.
So in college and on a punt, everybody, and I've said this numerous times, so I don't want to sound
repetitive,
like a mark.
All right, we're gonna
shut up.
Ignorant. Repetitive is the right thing.
Okay.
Not like a fucking mark.
Jeez.
Okay. I apologize that AJ even said that before I'm about to. I apologize to the information I'm about to say.
Okay.
Because AJ shouldn't have said that before the said information gets said. So in college, the punting rules are different than the NFL rules. That is why you see a lot of the rollout punts, like the guy from Pitt last night who just hung on to that rock as long as he possibly could. I think he did not see or expect old buddy to come late. CJ Donaldson Jr., I believe, was the one who did the block. Or
same number. Who's number 12?
Same number. Don't know if it was him or not. If it is, the guy might win a fucking Heisman. Sure. He's unbelievable. Freshman or running back for West Virginia as a guy. I think he's playing special teams as well. But that punter was holding on to the ball as long as possible, because in college, everybody is allowed to cover the punt, leave, and go past the line of scrimmage before the ball is kicked. So the longer you delay by going to the right, the longer you can kind of extend your motion, the further down the field your coverage team can get, which means what? No return at all. If they're going to catch it, it'll be a fair catch. And if it gets on the ground, they're not going to catch it because there's literally 4 guys normally right around it. So it's a return killer, basically taking your time and doing this. He did not see old buddy come off late. This is an Aussie rules thing that has been adapted into American football. We called it rugby for a long time because we didn't know that Australian rules football existed.
Yes.
And we didn't know because the commentators kept calling it a rugby kick. It's actually an Aussie rules kick. And Aussies are the reason why it has come into the American game for so much. Now, the reason why there's so many more Aussies in college than there is in the NFL is there's only 32 jobs, obviously, but there's a very different style of punting needed for the NFL because only 2 people are allowed to leave the line of scrimmage before the ball is punted, and those 2 people are the furthest outside guys, the ones on each side. Those are the only 2 that are allowed to leave the line of scrimmage. That's why whenever you see a double team on the gunners, it's such a big deal, because those 2 are the only motherfuckers that are allowed to cover before the ball is kicked, which probably takes about 2 seconds from snap to kick. So you have to have a much higher ball, a much bigger hang time, or you got to have a gunner that's a fucking dog. And if you do, you try to keep that guy around for as long as you can, a la Slater in New England and a couple others around the NFL. Bethel as well, who was Miami Dolphin now, formerly the Cardinals and the Patriots. So that is why you see the rollout punt in college and you don't see it really in the NFL, because the rules are built for that to have a much higher success rate in college with your coverage team getting down the field than it is in the NFL. And I will take my professor cap off and leave it right at that, AJ.
Do you think, though, do you think the college game could change to the NFL rules on punt because they want more returns, because those are very exciting for people? We don't really get to see that much.
That would be an easy rule to change to get.
Because they wouldn't be doing that Aussie punt anymore then.
I did a couple like semi-Aussies in the NFL, couple rollouts.
Yeah.
I hit one against Green Bay that might still be going. I mean, I fucking murdered. I think it was a penalty. No, roughing the punter afterwards.
Hell yeah.
Because you're allowed to rough the punter. Because if I act like I'm going to run, I am a runner, not a punter. So like that's another reason why the NFL can't.
We can hit the punter, but you can't hit him late, like after he lets it go, though.
Yes, that's what happened. So I punted. I was running. I punted. I think, if I do recall, and it was the former Illinois coach. That was a special.
Ron Zook.
It was Ron Zook for the Green Bay Packers. He was guy. They did a pull shoot. They cheated. They did a pull shoot, and the guy hit me, I think, late. So Tom McMahon's dad, or Mitt's dad, Tom, was not happy. I mean, you're talking motherfucking across the field to the Zook guy. I think they had settled their differences since then, but I think I did it once against Green Bay. I did once against Denver. I didn't hit it well at all. We tried it a couple times because in college, I got to the point where I could do that, and then I would hit this missile, like this low missile, that it was sick. To be honest. It was sweet. Yeah, I've hit a couple of them that are probably still going. I hit one at UPMC whenever I was very hungover in some off season. There was a Coles kicking camp happening at UPMC training center in Pittsburgh, and we had destroyed the South Side the night before. And I was asked to come speak to these like kickers, punters that were at this camp. And I should not have been speaking to anybody, so I showed up late. I did not want to speak to him. I gave a couple of high fives, but I started fucking around kicking some balls, and I hadn't hit a rugby ball in some time. So I was like, or an Aussie rule ball, sometime. So I like rolled out to the right a little bit, and I hit it, and I hit that thing cleaner than I've ever hit a ball in my life. And it hit the top of the fucking UPMC building, and it sounded like an actual bomb went off. Everybody stopped. Everybody in the building stopped, and it was the drunk guy in the middle of the field. Sorry. And then I just walked away. I think I was in jorts. I think I was wearing jorts at the time. But then that's why we did it the next season. I was like, hey, Tom, I think we should think about this. Because Tom's like, if you can hit a ball 75 yards in the air, like, we should do that. We should figure out how to block. We should try to block for that. But I couldn't get it as consistent enough. And with the NFL blocking, guys running like 4.4s, being like 6'5", there was no real comfort. There's no real comfort in me not getting killed doing it every time.
That's pretty sweet, though.
Yeah, it was. We tried.
The option of it.
We tried. We tried our best. We did against Miami too, down in Miami. That same game that Charlie Whitehurst blew his hamstring out.
Oh yeah.
We moved tackle over. We even went tackle over, so it looked like a college lineup too. And it was just going to be. I was just going to hit it as far as I fucking could. It was like, hey, it was the last game of the season. I think it was the last game of the season, so it was like, let's fucking try some shit for like next year. Let's see what we can do. And I think I caught one of them. I think one of them almost got blocked. The other coach knew what we were doing. He was former Rutgers guy, former Rutgers coach. So he knew exactly what we were doing.